super happy?
No, it just like makes me happy. My name's Katie Trace, and I'm a collegiate swimmer at The Ohio State University. So I swim the 200 individual medley, the 400 individual medley, and the 200 butterfly as my individual races. So in high school, I won 7 state championships, 2 individual and 5 for relays, and then also placed second 3 times in respective events. My team up Arlington High School won the high school state championships 3 times in a row. And then outside of high school swimming, I qualified for the Olympic trials in 2016. It's pretty crazy to think about how I qualified when I was only 17. What made me get into swimming was all my siblings that were older than me. My parents put them through swimming, swim lessons at first, and then we all moved to club swimming. And I really stuck around with it because I love training, and it's always a grind, but it's probably one of my favorite parts about swimming is just the rewards at the end after you put in so much work, and that feeling of success after it has kind of kept me going, and it piqued my interest at a pretty young age. I was a little nervous coming in my freshman year because I knew I was pretty good in high school, but I wasn't really sure what I was stepping into. I had no idea if my times would even score at Big Tens at all, or even if I would make the travel teams. And I felt a lot better about things after that first year. I knew I was in a good place. In the fall, like when we first get here, is a pretty common time to be drinking and stuff, but I have never drank because, one, I'm allergic to most of it. I have a gluten allergy, so I don't really have a choice there, but I just choose not to because I can, I'm pretty upbeat, I can have fun. I don't really think I need to. And then also, like, I always have a buddy with me, and I always, like, am kind of like momming them, like, hey, do you need any water? Or okay, go. But still like having some fun with it. And then just at the end of the night, making sure like everyone gets home okay with people they're supposed to go home with. There have definitely been times where that athletic and academic balance has sort of gone too high in one way, too low in the other. Every once in a while it'll hit me a little bit harder, and so I really lean on my friends, and they help me sort of figure things out. And so instead of just freaking out, scatterbrained all over the place, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this, and then coach wants me here, and then I have to go lift here. It really just helps me figure out a plan, and then they also, bring me out of the blues a lot. So if they know I've just been working all day, they'll do something silly with me for 10 minutes. So I really lean on the support of my teammates and friends. The hardest part about swimming for Ohio State is working for 6 months on end without a light at the end. Sometimes that can be really difficult. We'll train straight, pretty aggressive from September all the way through February. And so it can be pretty tough to stay focused on your goals for that long of a time.
Katie Trace. So Katie is probably a lot. I would say I've never coached an athlete that has a happier disposition while in the midst of some pretty miserable work. It's very challenging, and you have a tendency to encourage your teammates, sing on the wall even if you only have 3 seconds worth of rest before the next repeat, and just be generally pretty happy throughout some pretty miserable work, which is, I think, a pretty unique skill set. There's some people that can do a lot of hard work and work at a really high level, but they generally go to a pretty dark place while they're doing it, and you have a tendency to, the harder you're working and the harder the set gets, the happier you get, and the more you kind of try and bring other people in, which is cool. I'm excited for Katie Trace to win some Big Ten titles down the road. go to NCAAs individually for the first time?
I don't think I've ever seriously considered quitting, whether that's from the fear of not knowing what else I would do with all my free time. But even when it's absolutely horrible, even when it's a grind, swimming has done so much for me that I knew I would be worse off without it. I love swimming for the fact that if you do the work and if you trust your coaches, if you push yourself past the breaking point as many times as we all have here at Ohio State, then you are going to get the results that you want. It might not be at the next time you swim, it might not be at your next championship meet, but if you stick with it long enough, it doesn't matter how long it'll take, but you will get there. And so I think I really like it because it's a direct result of how much you want to put into it. If you try really hard, you're gonna get some really great results. Everywhere we go, if we're in the airport, we'll get an OH and we'll yell IO back. There's Buckeyes everywhere, and being a part of that I think is something pretty special.